Raheem Morris may have cost the Atlanta Falcons the division, the playoffs, with some horrific in-game management. Now, we cover these when they pop up just to kind of bring all this to light when it comes to in-game decision makings and how important it is in the NFL now. And we saw it in college. So we saw Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame have an absolutely stroke of genius on fourth down, 4th and 1. Sent out the punt team, brought on the offense. Georgia was confused. Georgia gets a false start or an offsides, and bada bing, bada boom. Notre Dame goes like a 5-minute drive or whatever to ice the game. So this is very prevalent now because when coaches get hired, all you think about is like their defensive capability or their offensive capability or whatever the side of the ball their specialty is. But it needs to be brought up, can they handle in-game decision-making? And if they can't, the biggest point of this whole video, why aren't coaches or why aren't teams employing booths full of probability experts in the NFL? Do y'all remember the coach for the Rams whose job it was to pull Sean McVay back from the sideline? How about we hire less of those guys? And how about we go over to MIT or go over to your local poker room and get some people who know probability? If you told me I was playing in the World Series of Poker or I was playing in a blackjack tournament and I could have someone in my ear who was a game theory expert or a probability expert, and they could just tell me this is optimal, and I could just play, it'd be the greatest thing in the world. That is available to NFL teams. And yet, we see Antonio Pierce, Mike McCarthy, Raheem Morris. We see this happen day in, day out, every week. So we're going to break down the Falcons one. Now, what I did not show, or what I'm not showing, is in the first half, Raheem Morris did this exact same thing, where Raheem Morris sat on a bunch of timeouts, cost the Falcons like 30 seconds. The drive resulted in a field goal anyways, so it may have not mattered, but you never know. But I'm not going to show that. I'm going to show the end of the game here. So it's 24-24. Commanders are punting, or they just punted. 40 seconds left. The Falcons, perfect situation. You got to drive down, kick a field goal, win the game, probably win the division, go to the playoffs. Let's see what happens. So first down, we get out here. Horrible spot for the Commanders. Because, again, you're not really worried about the touchdown. You're worried about giving up a field goal, any kind of points. 1st and 10, 40 seconds left, 2 timeouts. All right. So right here, Penix drops back. Huge pass on first down. Boom. Huge pass all the way to the 45. 33 seconds left. Now, what do you think happens next? And if you don't know, this is going to be a great exercise. What should immediately happen is you burn the timeout. Immediately, you should burn it. Because now that you're at the 45 with 33 seconds left, the clock really doesn't matter. Like 33 seconds, 1 timeout, you're on the 45. At that point, you're thinking, well, we either get into field goal range and we use our final timeout and kick the field goal and the game's over, or we don't, we punt the ball and we go to overtime. There is no negative now. There is no risk as far as the clock. The clock goes from being a problem to almost now being a friend. So it's completely flipped. So you burn the timeout here. Only Raheem Morris doesn't burn the timeout. Raheem Morris holds on to the timeout and forces his offense to go from wherever they were, the 25 to the 45, to try and hurry up and line up for a play. So they hurry up and line up for a play. It is snapped with 17 seconds left. Okay? 16 seconds was burned off of the clock. In those 16 seconds, the clock has now become your enemy, because now you have 17 seconds, but that's pretty low. So now the whole field isn't of use. Now you've cost yourself plays, all to try and do the same thing, which is just get into field goal range, kick a field goal. So in this situation, the 16 seconds is way more important than the timeout. The 16 seconds is way more beneficial to you than that second timeout. You take a sack here, something like that happens, it's all done and dusted. So huge mistake from Morris. All right, so Penix misses this throw. Great example. You get one playoff right there, you take a shot, now you're down to 12 seconds. Now all of a sudden you're thinking, damn, we're not even in field goal range. Now we got to get into field goal range. We got to, 12 seconds is not a lot at all. So we'll see it continue to play out here. Now, so second down, Morris is lost. And I wonder if he knows. I wonder if right here he knows, damn, I should have called a timeout. Well, we're going to listen to part of his post game where he basically admits, yeah, I should have, called the timeout. But I wonder if he knows already or if he knows, later on. All right, so 12 seconds, 2nd and 10, not in field goal range, obviously. So you got to get into field goal range. The whole field at this point is still of use because obviously you have 2 timeouts and it's 12 seconds. So you're probably not going to use both of them anyways. So now you're thinking we get something in the middle of the field, 10 yards, burn it. All right, so 2nd and 10, Penix fires deep. All right, nothing. 7 seconds. Okay, now you really don't have much of anything, right? Now you're thinking we're not even going to use the 2 timeouts. We're not going to get 2 plays off. It's 3rd and 10. 7 seconds left. We got to get something here just to try and kind of end this thing, right? So now you're thinking, can I get, what do they need? 15 yards, 20 yards? Can I get 15, 20 yards in 5 seconds, call a timeout, kick a field goal? That's kind of what you're thinking here. All right, 3rd and 10. Now, this is a backup kicker, so that's also factored in. All right, 3rd and 10. Nightmare, okay? Nightmare scenario. So 3rd and 10, you burn the timeout. So now you hold the timeout, okay? All this has happened, and you burn it there. So everything now is wasted. Everything has been wasted now. All right, so they burn the timeout, whatever. 3rd and 10. 1 timeout left. Jumps, free play. Oh, they burned it dead. Okay, cool. Burn it dead. We move forward to this play, 3rd and 5. All right, same situation as before. 3rd and 5 comes up. You got 1 play. All right, Penix takes a lot of time there. Hucks it up. Bailout call. Pass interference. Huge call. Okay. Now, this is important, obviously. Huge pass interference call. Bails out the Falcons. But the problem is they let the clock go so low that they can't really do anything except kick a field goal. Now, imagine if they had 16 additional seconds on the clock and it's 1st and 10. All of a sudden now, and you'd have a timeout. So imagine now it's 18 seconds left, 1st and 10, and you have a timeout. Now you can take shots. Now you can, just kind of dink and dunk. You can get 2, 3, 4, 5 yards. You can get 6, 7 yards. You can make this a much shorter situation, but because of the miscommunication or the misplay or the decision making or whatever, you have to kick it, which turns into a 56-yarder. Which, yeah, it's the NFL. You should be able to make a 56-yarder, but it should be 1st and 10 right here, and it should be 18 seconds left, and it should be a very beneficial spot for the Falcons, but it's not because of Raheem Morris and because of the clock management. Now, again, he did this in the first half. So this is one of those things where I just don't think he is making these decisions correctly, or the right people aren't in the room to make the decisions. He ended up missing the field goal. We know all that. So let's go to Morris immediately after the game. He's asked about, after the catch, should he have burned the timeout?
Why did you take the timeout after Darnell's catch on 1st down?
Probably could have. I thought we can get to the line of scrimmage with our operation, be a little bit faster there, get him there without going on the fast and our ball, try to save that timeout. In hindsight, could have been a good decision or a better decision to take that timeout, but I wanted to have the opportunity to move up there. So, you can always second-guess those things. You can always second-guess those motives. You can always go back and look at him, see if you can get it snapped a little bit quicker. But I really believe we can get our operation time a little bit faster there to be able to save that timeout, still be able to click off, potentially get the pass interference, have a couple more snaps there, save the timeouts, and be able to use them there to get that field goal a little bit closer.
So he knows it was a mistake. He knows it was a mistake. He knows, he should have used the timeout. Now, I tweeted this yesterday, and if you're not following the Twitter, what are you doing? So this is the Notre Dame situation. This is the fourth down I was talking about earlier. The absolute just stroke of genius with Freeman. This guy right here, this isn't exactly the play. This is second down, so it's coming up in a little bit. But the point is, this guy to the left is Notre Dame's director of analytics, Anthony Triash or Anthony Thrash or whatever. He's right there with Freeman. So he is telling Freeman, he's giving him the answers. All right, he's giving him the answers to the test. We see it all the time. It happens in real time. These analytics, the bots or whatever that they have. A really good follow is Ben Baldwin. So Ben Baldwin, he created a fourth down bot. This is the decision bot. So in real time, you can see these, and they pop up throughout an NFL Sunday or an NFL game or whatever. And it shows you, like real easy, they spits in the situation, spits in the whole, all the stuff, and the algorithm will pop up like, hey, here's your win percentage with a field goal attempt, here's your win percentage with a go for it, here's your success percentage. It's boom, right there. These teams of like directors of analytics or whatever should be able to do this. And if you're a head coach, if you're Raheem Morris, and that first down happens and you get told, hey, plus 5% if we call the timeout, you just burn it. So I think eventually, and by eventually I mean like within the next year, I think we'll see every team in college and the NFL deploying analytical coordinators. It's crazy we don't hear about it. It's crazy we don't hear about an analytical coordinator the same as like an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator or special teams coordinator. Like how many times have we heard like challenges where, a coach will be like 0-7 on challenges that season? How is that possible? How do you not have a team of people doing that? How do you not have someone in the booth who is the coordinator of whatever challenges or like, it's just time. The NFL has really evolved quickly, very fast. And some of these organizations, bottom line, just aren't evolving. Some of these organizations are acting like it's 1985, and they're trying to win with run the football, punt on fourth down, field position, gut, momentum, vibes. They're just trying to win with that. And it's the same thing happened to poker. If you follow poker over the last 10-ish years, like the European poker players absolutely took over, because once the internet happened and they could play like this hyper fast, hyper just like optimized way, then they just took over online poker. And we started seeing this complete shift in how poker's played. And we still are seeing some of that, where 30, 40 years ago, it was all about bluffing or gut feel or reading a table or any of that stuff. And now it's all about your pot odds versus your expected value versus your, all these percentages and GTO and all this game theory. And everybody's playing by the same book, basically. And it's basically like it's just math problems. You're just doing math problems over and over and over again. And gone are the days of the guy in the cowboy hat, smoking a cigar, trying to bluff the room. Now you've got some guy in Switzerland with a 20-box, multi-box lobby on PokerStars, and he's playing 20 games at once because he's just doing 20 math problems at once. And he's just doing, 3 times 12, just 12 times. Okay, boop, boop, boop. Here's all the answers, probability here. Okay, playing all this. And they know that the more hands they play, the more money they're going to make because they're playing at blank positive percentages. And that changed poker. Poker is completely different than it was 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And I think the NFL is doing that as well, where you're seeing a lot of this optimization. And I just don't understand why. I mean, Freeman this year was on Pardon My Take with Big Cat on Barstool, and he was given the question about you're down 14, late, you score, what do you do? And he said, I kick the extra point. And he got skewered for it because everyone knows that's wrong. Everyone knows that you're supposed to go for 2. He got skewered. He had to have follow-up press conferences and all kinds of stuff. I don't think it's a coincidence that he messes that up, gets embarrassed, gets skewered, and then a few months later, he's got the director of analytics in his back pocket in the biggest moment of his career. I don't think that's a coincidence. And there's a whole lot of people out there who would have punted on 4th and 1. There's a whole lot of people out there who would have said, we're on our own 20. It's a semifinal game. We're facing Georgia. We got to punt. And they might have lost. But because they didn't punt, because they played it perfectly, they were able to drain an additional 5 minutes off the clock and ice the game, put it away. So it's just another example of the NFL changing, shifting, moving. And, if you're new to this kind of stuff, because, it's not this isn't something that is easy. It's not easily available on ESPN or Fox Sports. They don't talk about this kind of stuff. So if you're new to this kind of stuff, then get into it, dig into it, and explore it. There's a lot of great Twitter follows. There's a lot of great accounts out there who will kind of walk you through the analytics on a game-by-game basis or whatever, but it's the future. It is the future of sports. It's the future of the NFL. So, but yeah, tough stuff for Raheem Morris. And I think Raheem Morris, I've seen a lot of people that I respect saying that Raheem Morris will be next year's Matt Eberflus, where you'll see next year you're going to see more of this. And, Matt Eberflus, Mike McCarthy, Antonio Pierce, they're probably right now the worst. Well, Eberflus is fired, but they're the guys who right now or this season were probably the worst at in-game management. Dennis Allen was really bad, but a lot of people I respect think that Raheem Morris will be the next top dog in the bad in-game management, but he can stop it if he wants. Raheem, if you're watching, might want to make a call to MIT, might want to make a call to Vegas, get you a couple probability experts and fix these decisions. All right, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.